everybody? It is Kneecap Biting with the Detroit Lions. I'm your host, Smoking Jeremy B. I've got Detroit Dom till the wheels fall off and DC 8901. Okay, yeah, that's it.
Ooh, well, shit, I typoed that, didn't I? Damn.
Yeah,
My
you
bad.
did. It's okay. That being said, it's a great week. James Burgess is already in the chat with "It's a bird. It's a plane. No, it's just a hero ball from Aaron Rodgers landing at Kirby Joseph International as always." So, with the eve of camp upon us, Jahmyr Gibbs is signed pretty much. He gets a fully guaranteed $17.8 million contract with a $9 million signing bonus for his 4 year tenure as a first round pick. I actually love the fact they did the fully guaranteed thing because it proves what Brad Holmes said on the Peter Schrager interview that he's more than just a running back, he's an offensive weapon. So they're giving him a contract that's similar to a wide receiver drafted at the same position.
Yep.
What do you think, Dom?
Definitely a fair deal. I didn't love the pick when they made it. Not because I thought it was a reach or because secretly yes, I wanted Bijan Robinson. But I think he's going to be somewhere in between. He's definitely going to be a healthier DeAndre Swift and possibly better than Alvin Kamara.
That's what I see. I agree. What do you think, DC?
I'm more than fine with it. I basically think he's going to put Debo Samuels to shame, the hybrid position that he can be. He's going to be all over the place, and you're not going to see many 24 powers out of him, but he's going to be behind the backfield in the slot, catching, running, doing trick plays. He'll be all over the damn place.
That, and before I do the next one, we did have something come up that I was right after I set up the show, and I was like, damn it, that would have been a good topic. So I'm going to throw it out here anyways. The Money Badger, Michael Badgley. Sayonara. He's been cut. He's been a no show to every single camp, voluntary or mandatory so far. So, with the eve of rookie camps coming up, which means John Parker Romo is at rookie camp earning his kicking duties, getting ready for Riley Patterson because he has to get more accurate before he'll beat Riley Patterson, in my opinion, from what I heard. He has a bigger leg, but he's not as accurate. Uh, what do you think about the Money Badger going sayonara? DC?
I'm fine with it. I just didn't hear that he was a no-show to everything. That made the big damn decision pretty easily then. But, yeah, I guess once you trade for a kicker, you're pretty much going to be sunk. That kicking thing was going to be too deep for him.
Yep. Dom?
Yeah, same. I didn't know that he was no-showing. It looks pretty dumb on his behalf when you've already got at best a tenuous hold on the kicking job. I don't know if it's Patterson or the Romo guy. He's from the XFL, right? Or USFL?
He's from the USFL. He was the kicker for the champion team.
Okay.
And
I hear they celebrated with 40s.
Yeah, that was great. But and that being said, Alex McGough, the champion quarterback, is now a backup to Love.
Yikes.
Wow.
I just want to overall, I just want to see some stability with the kicking game. I don't know that we're there right now, but we were kind of spoiled with all those years
of Eddie Murray and Hansen.
Eddie Murray, Jason Hansen. We had literally two kickers for almost 4 decades.
Yeah, because let's see, Eddie Murray was drafted at the end of the 70s, early 80s, right? Like 79 to 81, right in there.
Yep.
And then he was here till the 90s, and then the late 90s, you get Jason Hansen, and he stays for 22 years. So, yeah, it was 91.
Yep. Second round, 91.
And we're not a dominant team, so the kicking game is going to matter.
Right. But because of the kicking game not being dominant, and we're not hitting consistently from over 50 yards, that is why we go for it at midfield more often than most teams.
Exactly.
Well, that
You're
and
in
for the
no
first
man's land for punting because 9 times out of 10 it goes out the back of the end zone. You're giving them a free 20 yards anyways.
right.
So unless
It's lack of trust in the kickers, and for the first almost half of the season, Campbell couldn't trust the defense either.
Amen.
Yep. And your strength is
People
in
are
your
like,
offense.
"Oh, he's wild. He's gambling too much."
And
It's no,
in his
he
2
couldn't trust
seasons
the
going
defense.
for it on fourth down, he's over 64%. It's 64.4% through 2 seasons. That is
That's
the
freaking
highest
ridiculous.
of any coach for calling going for it on fourth down since God, probably it was invented.
Yep. Or at least it's a kept the stat. Jesus. And that's including the fakes. I'm assuming.
And we got King SJ in the comments. He says, "Evening, gentlemen." And
Howdy.
even Matt Prater was a good kicker for us too. Not as long as Murray or Hansen, mind you. No, he was a great kicker. I mean, he set a world record with us. It then had it broken.
And then missed the extra point afterwards. He was just inconsistent. When he had a boot, he was great.
Yeah, well, his first 4 years here, he was great. That 5th year is where he got inconsistent. He was hitting everything under the sun from the field goal, but couldn't hit an extra point. It was disgusting. All right, on to our next topic. Oh, come on. There it is. New York Jets trade Denzel Mims to Detroit. The 6'3", 207-pound wideout has struggled with injury and concentration chops, but to send a conditional 6 for Mims and get a concessional 7th back in 2025, it's a great move, low risk and high reward if it pans out. Dom, it's your turn to go first.
Go to DC first.
Okay. DC.
I freaking love it. 6'3", 207, 4'3" runner. And as we pointed out, both Pike pointed out, we point out in our chat, who was throwing it to him. And apparently I didn't know that if it hits you in the back, it's considered a drop.
Yes. If it hits you in the back, if it hits you in the helmet, if it hits your hands and you almost caught it and a defensive back bats it away, that's a drop.
Yeah, I figured that. I just didn't know in the back.
I'm just saying,
helmet,
but like if it hits you in your catch radius in like center mass, and it doesn't matter front or back, they consider it a catchable ball. Is that ridiculous or what?
It had to be hands or chest for it to be considered a drop.
No, not anymore. Because people make circus catches, so they've expanded what a catch is and what's a catchable ball. But let's go over the list. When you say drops, and I mind you, 18 of his 44 drops last season, he was hitting the back or the helmet.
Yep.
So he had his rookie year, Sam Darnold. His sophomore year, Zach Wilson year 1, and Josh Johnson.
Yep.
Joe Flacco in there somewhere, right?
The 3rd year, he has Zach Wilson, Joe Flacco, Chris Streveler, and
Mike White.
And he had the best results. What's crazy is the best chemistry he had was with Chris Streveler, who was the UDFA that was picked up the same year he was drafted.
Yep.
The flyer on Mims is 100% Brad move. I'm totally down with this and can't type that loud enough. Patty Grimes says, "What's up?" And King SJ and James Burgess are having a little conversation back and forth, saying hi to each other, evidently. Denzel is not a true pro, has not had a true pro like Goff dealing to him yet. Yes. What is your thoughts on Denzel Mims there, Dom?
For me, he's basically DJ Chark 2.0. Deep threat. He's had injury issues, minimized by poor quarterback play. I mean, because other than holding a starting job for a longer period of time, is Blake Bortles considerably better than any of those Jets quarterbacks?
I would consider him better than 3 of them.
Okay, fair. He was also he was the odd man out once Rodgers got his way. They got Lazard
and Cobb.
I also forgot they got Mecole Hardman.
Yeah.
And the thing, like the 42 catches on 92 targets looks ugly, but like we said, how many of those were actually catchable balls? The thing that concerns me slightly, he has as many touchdowns in the NFL as the three of us.
Yeah, I know. I have heard this. And, but we could say the same thing about Khalif Raymond before he became a Lion, right?
Exactly.
Struggled with concentration drops and everything else. His first year was abysmal. Him and what's the other guy that we ended up cutting led the team in drops. Remember that?
Perryman.
No, Perryman was cut before the season started. I meant in season.
Yeah, he never even suited up.
In season, we had another guy that was right with him in drops. It was somebody that we picked up as
another guy from Cleveland. Mm-hmm. What was his name?
Benson?
No, I can't remember.
Well, either way, that guy went and he stayed because of his punt and kick return ability. Antoine Randall and Jared Goff and the other receivers all went to work together that offseason. And what happened? Khalif Raymond became our most clutch guy on third down when everybody else was injured.
Damn right.
So, yeah, it took him a minute, but he sees that opportunity.
That this coaching staff and this wide receiver room can help Mims become a better receiver. And look at that, boys.
Absolutely.
It's Detroit's own Eminem. Yeah, that's nice. Eminem. It isn't Eminem. It's Eminem.
Eminem.
This town needs an Eminem.
This town needs an enema.
Yep. Khalif is a keeper. He ain't the same guy he was pre-2021. He's not even the same guy that he was in 2021. That's what I'm getting at. So taking a flyer on a guy that struggled, it's what Brad Holmes does. He fills the roster with these guys. And here's the great thing. Let's say they move him to the practice squad because he's still on a rookie deal, right? So we're able to throw him on the practice squad. God knows we can because Tom Kennedy sat on a practice squad for 6 years.
Exactly.
This is the last year. And as much as I hate to say it, I don't think Tom Kennedy makes this roster now.
Yeah, it's going to be hard as shit for him to make the practice squad.
He can't hit the practice squad again, so he will be gone.
Yep.
More than likely. I love Tom Kennedy, and he's by far, other than Jack Fox, the best quarterback we got on the team if Goff goes down.
Exactly.
Because I trust Suckfeld as far as I can throw him.
But Holmes and Campbell trust him enough to not get a better backup. If nothing else, he knows the system. And ultimately, if Goff goes down, we're fucked.
I know. Because
that's
the other thing that came out yesterday, right after I made this thing. Hendon Hooker to the NFI. We all knew it was coming.
And that's every team in the league, though. If your starter goes down, you're done.
Unless it's Kyler Murray, because their backup's actually better than him. Colt McCoy.
Other than Miami somehow, but Tua got hurt right at the end of the year, right?
The Jets facilities food poisoned Mims is the problem. Right now, it is that 6-week IR thing. They have the 6 weeks there. They're saying he'll be healthy in time. I think this is more of a move to protect him from himself so he doesn't try to do too much during camp. Because he's so close to being ready.
It's the same thing they did with Jamo last year. Either he's got to get into a game or he's got to sit 6. But as far as I'm concerned, for this whole year, he's Lieutenant Dan.
Yeah, it's unlikely we see him at all, even dressed.
If we do ever see him, it better be in garbage time of blowout wins.
Absolutely.
That's about it.
So just so everyone is aware, last week was the last video content that was put out by Detroit Lions on the Prowl. Valerie Bordeaux decided it was time for it to retire for now. She's been running it ever since Jim Bordeaux passed. And kudos to her and everything that her and Kurt Steele and Jim Bordeaux created with Detroit Lions on the Prowl, starting off with Maniac Tim. Those guys are great. They all have good content. Please still follow Detroit Lions on the Prowl. If you're subscribed, what they're doing with that money is great for us newer podcasters that have less subscribers to them. If you decide to keep your contribution to them, they're going to use it to help us lesser podcasters get equipment, pay for streaming services, whatever we need. And so I'm asking that if you are a gold or silver or bronze member of Detroit Lions on the Prowl, because of what it means to the rest of us newer podcasters, please continue to do so. And
howdy, James.
Rest in heaven, Jim. I just wanted to get that out there because I was a part of the retirement show last Monday.
Oh, yeah.
Cool.
And that was where I got my start doing this. That's where John Robinson coined the term Smoking Jeremy B. That's where I got my nickname from. It stuck. Even though I can't smoke in Mom's house. But it is what it is. I don't care if you guys smoke. It just makes it quicker as soon as I get off here on how fast I want to actually get off here to go smoke a cigarette. That being said, here we go. The last topic of the night before we go to the viewers. And this is where it's going to get fun. This Goffense's speed is terrifying.
How have I never heard that before right now?
You never heard Goffense? That was coined by Russell Wayne of the Main Event 365. I can't take credit for it. It is his name, but I like it.
I'm shocked it wasn't Pike that came up with that.
Look at the speed of the top four on the team. 4.25 Jamison Williams. It's unconfirmed. That's why it has an asterisk. 4.36 Jahmyr Gibbs. 4.38 Denzel Mims. 4.34 Khalif Raymond. Let's not forget 4.42 for Mr. Josh Reynolds.
Yep.
And let's not also forget our 7th rounder. Even though he may not make the roster and end up a practice squad guy, Antoine Green is 4.39. He's also 6'2", and what was it, 212? I think he is.
Yeah,
with
he was that big.
With an 11'2" broad jump. That's big on wide receivers and running backs.
Yeah, he'll make the team.
Yeah, freakish.
But let's also rank.
He can take Kennedy's spot on the practice squad
or the bench, either one.
But with
because there's going to be 6 on the roster, and everybody says, "But Jamo's suspended." If you're suspended, you don't count towards the roster.
Right.
Yep, Antoine Green can only survive 4 weeks of practice squad, in my opinion. I don't think he'll last long there either. And if Bryce Ford Whedon doesn't make the active roster squad and New York Giants and we don't cut one other bum and take him, I'm going to be so mad.
Oh, agreed.
Because he's just as fast as Antoine Green.
if the Giants don't at least put him on the practice squad. But wait, isn't the thing
he's a UDFA?
Like if right, but regardless of how you came to the team, before you can get to the practice squad, you have to be unclaimed. Oh wait, no, that's not how it goes. You get a couple spots on the practice squad
that are protected,
and then you get like 1 or 2 more after they clear like waivers, essentially, right?
Mm-hmm.
What happens when they get put somebody on waivers? They stay there for 48 hours. They're able to be picked up by teams according to their draft order right now because no games have been played even after the preseason. And then after that, if they come back to your team, they immediately go to the active roster, which means you have to cut somebody from who you wanted on the 53 to keep them. Or move them to the practice squad and do the whole thing again.
Yeah, it's a mess.
But with the extra third quarterback you can keep on your roster that doesn't count towards a 53, why don't we just say it's a 54-man roster now?
Pretty much.
I'm looking at the Giants wide receivers, and I'm sorry, what? Like their number one wideout at wide receiver 1, Isaiah Hodgins. Who's that?
The rookie they got last year.
Okay. Then they got Wan'Dale Robinson. That was the guy they drafted last year from Kentucky. Cole Beasley is listed as their third. And then Colin Johnson, Darius Slayton, Jalen Hylett, Jamison Crowder, David Sills, Paris Campbell, Sterling Shepard, Jeff Smith, Khalil Pimpleton.
He's still there. He made it a year. I didn't think he would.
I mean, hell, Slayton's the only one that's really reputable.
Other than the rookies, you know what you've got with most of those guys. If you don't keep Ford Wheaton, we'll take him.
Damn right.
100%. Because I'm sorry, I would put Mims on the practice squad then to have Ford Wheaton. They're the same speed.
Yeah.
He's 2 inches taller and weighs 20 pounds more.
Right. And we don't know what he is versus we do with Mims.
Right.
I think Mims will be fine.
Eminem says, Jared Goff is like a child in a candy store, just giddy with all this speed. He is.
We still have that offensive line.
And think about it.
Even more,
I didn't even mention our best wide receiver, Amon-Ra St. Brown, with a 4.5, but who looks much faster on the field than his 40 time. Does anybody disagree with that statement?
You know what Amon-Ra is? He's Jarvis Landry's wet dream.
He's what Jarvis Landry was supposed to be.
Yeah.
A route technician with great hands. And we are talking about NFL record tying for catches in 2 seasons from rookie to his second year. He tied the record.
Jarvis Landry used to own that record.
Yeah.
I don't know who owned it before
Randy
2006. No, it wasn't Moss. Marcus Colston, his first 2 years, he had the record.
Okay.
Then it got broke by Odell, then Jarvis Landry, then Slant Boy.
Oh, Michael Thomas, yep.
Jarvis Landry once had like 110 catches for less than 1,000 yards.
Now think about this. For 10 weeks of his rookie year, we basically didn't use Amon-Ra because Anthony Lynn refused to call plays to go his way, remember?
Yep.
And he missed a game. He missed a game his rookie year.
I mean, he had like 1 or 2 good games early in the season, early-ish, and then they went away from him.
Right. The first game when they started the comeback, he was a big part of that against San Francisco. Then they went away from him the next week, and they went away from him the next week, and they went away. Then they came back to him in week 4 versus the Ravens. And the kick that never should have happened beat us.
Yep.
And James Bridges says, and Lynn got fired, and everyone was happy, and the natives rejoice.
And there was much rejoicing.
Yeah, I'm looking at the game log of his rookie year. 2 catches, 2-3-1, 6-7-5, missed a game, 3-4-4-4, 10-8-8-9-8-8, including touchdowns in his last 4 games.
Right. He had, what, 90 receptions his rookie year? Isn't that right?
Yep.
So he had,
I'm sure you've heard,
90 receptions. He had 106 last year, and he missed 2 games.
I'm sure you've heard that his his pre-practice routine is he reads off the names of all the receivers that got picked before him.
You know what I think his new routine should be? There were 16 wide receivers in the top 100 voted by the players ahead of him. That should be his new list.
No,
because I don't think there's 16 receivers better than him in the NFL right now.
Hell no.
There's not. The only ones from that draft class
Jahmyr Chase
that are better. Yeah.
Jahmyr Chase, that's it.
Chase, that's it. People are like, Waddle's better. No, he's not.
Waddles is faster, but he's not better.
Devontae Smith is not better.
Nope. People are so enamored with the speed factor.
Was that Holmes's first draft?
That was Holmes's first draft. And now that we went through this, talking about the Goffense speed and everything else, I want to talk about that draft in specific. The 2021 draft. Maurice Jones-Drew came out 2 days ago and released his top 10 draft picks from the 21 draft class. Number 6, the best right tackle in football today is Penei Sewell. He is a throwback to Joe Thomas, is exactly what he said.
Yeah, right.
Number 7, Amon-Ra St. Brown. The 4th picked 119th overall. Is by far the second best wide receiver of this draft class.
Easily.
So it isn't just us hyping up Amon-Ra. It is noticed in national media is what I'm getting at. Wow. I love and I hate when it's 3 guys here, because I come up with 3 great topics we can talk about a long time, but I only got 3 guys, so it goes like 10 minutes a topic. Right. So let's throw it to the chat. What do you guys want to talk about? James, King SJ, Eminem, or NMM, I should say.
I mean, I have some additional information on the speed is terrifying thing.
Go ahead.
Well, as we all know, speed kills. And especially with a dominant offensive line, like routes can fully develop. Quarterback has time to go through his progressions. Wide receivers can break off routes in a broken play.
Right. But when you got below the top speed, when I say below the top, I mean the safety zone. There's no safety in the world that's going to be able to turn around and catch up to guys with that type of speed. That's when you end up seeing Goff doing what he did with Brandon Cooks and Josh Reynolds when he was in his second year in 2018.
Yeah. And
everyone across the middle.
As good as our run game was last year,
it could be better.
It should be better.
It's going to be better.
Nope.
Think about this. Montgomery was, I believe, number 2 in the NFL last year in broken tackles.
Number 1.
Okay, number 1.
Number 1, yeah.
Now imagine him breaking. The first tackle he breaks is 4 yards on the other side.
Yeah, I know. Instead of
4 yards behind it.
Instead of the 32nd ranked negative 0.7 yards before contact, the Bears low line created.
Honestly, I think it might take him a couple games to get used to it. Like the first time he gets the ball handed off to him, and he's like, "Oh my God, there's a hole."
And he's going to look, and his jaw going to drop, and the next thing you know, he's going to get slammed in a fumble behind the line. Because he's so in shock, he doesn't know what to do.
That's what I thought was going to happen.
Is there a flag? What's going on
last year? But he was terrible.
And James Burgess' run game will be better. I'm sold on that. Love Jamal, but Monty is better. And absolutely. The guy with a O-line that created negative 0.7 yards before contact. That means 1 foot before the line of scrimmage, he was getting hit. He still managed to average the exact same amount of yards per carry as Jamal Williams did with 4.3 yards of separation, which is 4.3. That is why Jamo
That's
Williams
against
didn't have a touchdown more than 10 yards.
And think of the defenses that the Bears were facing. All anyone was worried about was a run. It's either going to be him or
Fields.
Justin Fields are going to run. He was playing run D's the entire time with a shitty line.
I know. I just got told that I was an idiot and didn't watch enough on Fields to be able to say the stats I rattled off. I went to, I do this every year. I look at next gen stats passing charts every year, and I go over the zones where somebody threw to. And it says how many times they threw passes and how many were caught for their passer rating for the receptions, how many were caught. Right. And it's where they're caught, not where they ran to. That's in air travel. And over the middle between the safeties at over 15 yards, Justin Fields threw 38 passes last year. I actually didn't think it was that many. Guess how many were caught?
7.
2.
Goose egg.
Like
how many
passer rating?
Poor man's Lamar Jackson.
Passer rating 0.0.
How many picks?
I didn't look at that because all it was just passer rating's all about completions, has nothing to do with picks. It just has to do with completions. QBR takes all that stuff into account. Now what's funny is outside the hash marks. Now he's not a short quarterback, right? Isn't he like 6'2", 6'3"?
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. Damn near it.
Outside the hash marks, what's funny? He's right-handed. He's better on the left side than he is on the right.
He's just not good.
And a 53.8 completion percentage for a career right now.
No, it's 59.
Oh, is it up to 59? But he hasn't had a season over 60 yet, right?
Correct. Well, last year he was just over 60, but his rookie year he was like 54 or something.
Yeah, it was stupid.
Which, like, nowadays, under 60% is like 50% in the old days because everyone completes 60%. Like, if you're not at 60% in this league,
yeah, you got problems.
Good luck.
He's got to stop the turnovers. He's got to learn how to read a defense. I still remember his rookie year when he said, man, these NFL defenses are slow. I said, yeah, when you're practicing against your crappy defense, of course they're slow.
Right.
His first game in, wasn't it, versus the Browns?
Yeah,
his rookie year. And he got walloped. Amen. 60% is the Mendoza line. So I said, you guys want to see him hover around 62% this year because that would be a drastic improvement. You want to see him, I don't even think you want to see him throw for 3,000 yards. You want to see him throw for 2,800 to maybe 3,000. Don't make 3,000 your floor.
Yeah, that's ridiculous for him.
But they think he's going to throw for 4,000 yards this year.
Oh, man, I was saying something about this before.
I can see him going to be
235 yards a game?
Absolutely no way. Apparently, Bears fans can't do math.
No, they do math when, like, Charles Barkley talks about terrible math. 5 and 4 did not equal 10. That's just terrible math.
Well, let me tell you, 4,000 divided by 17 is 235.
Right.
Yep.
He's only had 6 or 7 games over 200 in his career.
And 4 of them
never had 300. Like, yeah, their O-line is less terrible, but good luck getting to those numbers. I mean, unless he can clean up the fumbles and the interceptions.
And read a defense. Read a defense.
Now No, he doesn't have Montgomery as a threat either that people are going to have to respect.
Yeah,
Well,
way to let your best running back go to a division rival.
Yeah, I'm glad he was a free agent. We didn't hit the trade for him.
I can't.
And
It's
I'm going to do a
shocking.
little bit of other news, and I want to get your guys' take on this. Mr. Jordan Addison, first round pick. Just after 3 a.m. last night, was cited for reckless driving, doing 140 miles per hour in a 55. Somebody's trying to tell me that was an expressway. I've driven through Minnesota, and I've never seen 55 miles per hour on any expressway in Minnesota. I've seen it on highway,
or the Beltway.
maybe a 4-lane highway or a 2-lane road, but I've never seen it on an expressway.
I don't care if it's a legit expressway. Where do they raise the limit to 80?
Mm-hmm.
Somewhere out in the sticks in like Montana and Wyoming.
Mm-hmm.
Like 140. What are you doing? And it was like super late at night. Like, come on, guy.
Worst comes to worst, you buy a Lamborghini. Why the hell are you going to buy that ugly SUV? Of all the great cars that company makes, you buy the SUV Lamborghini. Why the hell did they make that?
Because they can make it go fast with a V10.
Yeah, but
I'm just being silly.
I mean,
go to a freaking racetrack and go as fast as you possibly can and hope you don't wreck. But it's like just stupid.
And James Burgess, you're absolutely right. This is Raiders behavior. Grow up. And
by the way, Lamar Jackson's career high in passing is 3,127. But you're telling me Fields is going to throw for 873 more yards?
So other than
without Mark Andrews,
than DJ Moore, they still have Pringle, right? Yep. But he was garbage.
I don't know.
Give me the Bears a whole wide receiver.
I was going to say I'm going to find it right now.
I know they got Tanyan and Clement in the tight end room, and that's pretty good.
I mean, DJ Moore is a yak guy anyways. If he gets the yards, it's going to be for
They have DJ Moore.
Mm-hmm.
Amon-Ra's shittier brother.
Yep.
Velus Jones.
He's got speed.
Bum. Darnell Mooney.
He's good.
Bunch of guys I've never heard of. Chase Claypool. Dante Pettis.
Dante Pettis was the one that came on a little bit towards the end of the season, right after Mooney went down.
Isn't he one of those other new... Oh, no, Washington. I was going to say, wasn't he another one of those dudes from Baylor that was a track star? That was Velus Jones and someone else.
The guy that Kalon Barnes.
Yep.
The one that the Patriots got. Okay. So you're telling me the only one that stood out on that list was DJ Moore.
Yep.
Two years ago.
That's it.
2 years ago, I would have said he is the most underrated receiver in the NFL. Like, based upon the numbers he put up with awful quarterbacks, he was like a poor man's DeAndre Hopkins. Mm-hmm. But he's kind of regressed. Yep. He's not old, but his best years are probably behind him.
Look.
Yeah, I mean, he's a yak.
Here we go.
That's what
James Burgess with an open question to all. If DC becomes the Warthogs, how long before they get in touch with J.K. Rowling to turn to the Hogwarts for merch money?
Oh, God. They changed the name to the Warthogs. Good Lord.
I thought about something we could talk about.
Sure.
The sale of the foreskins.
Oh, yeah. The foreskins
$6 million. He gets a $60 million fine, which equals out to 1%
of
what happens with the emails.
Yeah, I want to know that too, because there's a lot of emails we've heard nothing about.
I've been saying
Yeah, those
I mean, how long has it been since
the
they seized his emails? Damn near 2 years at this point, right?
Yeah, it's been 2 years.
He's got so much
Gruden's
dirt.
out for blood.
If they ever
and
get
everybody
out,
else.
if they ever get out and the NFL follows suit as far as like a strong stance on racism and misogyny, it could possibly force the sale of
probably
half the teams in the NFL.
I'd say a quarter, 8 teams.
Now, look, Gruden's out for blood on that. They want that email thing to go away quick.
As he should be.
Gruden's out for blood, and he has a case. And so they want that to go away very quickly.
I mean, we know Jerry Jones is racist.
No. Say it's not so.
We know that the Texans owner.
Yeah, that guy. Yeah,
but he tried to cover it up by hiring 3 black coaches in a row, but firing them after 1 year.
Except for the new guy.
And then the other prime suspects, I would think, are all the teams that gave Colin Kaepernick a tryout. Because they can be like, we're not racist. We gave Colin Kaepernick a tryout.
So Broncos, Seahawks, and wasn't it Jacksonville? Right?
No, the Raiders, I think, right?
Yeah, it was the Raiders.
And Seattle did too at one time. Seattle
did.
Seattle, Denver, Raiders, and Jacksonville. I think that's the 4 teams that actually showed up. And it was done in Atlanta, and Atlanta didn't even show up. What does that tell you? And they needed a quarterback because Matt Ryan was slowly going downhill at the time. I think all NFL fans should sue Dan's POS Snyder in a class action. Today's world figure could probably get us all free tickets to a home game. Hey, with the amount of money he cost the NFL by scalping tickets from football sales and hiding them as event sales, he should be going to jail for that. Granted, it's a white-collar crime. He should be in jail.
That's just like, how much of a douche do you have to be because I'm pretty sure he was already pretty close to being a billionaire before he sold the team.
Right. He became a billionaire 3rd year in.
He was when he bought it.
3rd year in, he was a billionaire by profit alone.
That team was insanely profitable when he took it over.
And then that 3rd year was when he blew half of his load signing Albert Hainsworth.
Yep. Then there's the Steve Spurrier debacle. The list goes on and on of the shitty signings.
Danny Werfel.
Yes.
After he was horrible. After he was horrible, he signed him.
Yep.
Like, I thought that James Dolan was the worst owner in pro sports. Snyder was like, hold my beer.
Still was. The old man, William Clay Ford, was the worst owner by far.
You know what?
I think Snyder even won a playoff game. Yeah, they beat us.
Worst as far as, like, putting a good product on the field or caring about it. But, like, as a human being, I don't think he was a bad dude.
Right. There's one thing you can say about Willie Clay Ford. Whether it was a coach, whether it was a GM, whether it was players, he was loyal to them. He was to a fault, no doubt. That's why we had Millen as the decade of despair.
I was going to say clueless, and I've said this so many times. Like, when you have an owner that's clueless, you hire a clueless GM who hires clueless coaches and position coaches.
And you think about it, for every year, was there ever a coach without the last name starting with M in Detroit while Millen was here?
Mariucci.
First one was Moeller, right?
Moeller, Mariucci, Moore.
He was the best coach we had until now.
Yeah. Gary Moeller was the first guy he fired, is what I'm saying, when he took over. He fired Gary Moeller and hired Morningwig to bring in Mariucci, to bring in Marinelli.
I mean, he didn't fire Moeller per se. He was the interim. He just didn't get the job.
He should have.
100%. We lost a game at the end of that year to miss the playoffs against Chicago because Sparty, Paul Edinger, kicked the field goal and put us out.
And
it's okay. That playoff drought ending this year.
That year that Chicago went to the Super Bowl that all the Bears fans try to throw in our face, who was the only team that beat them that year? Gave them their one loss. Do you remember?
Were they 15-1 that year?
Yeah.
Yeah, 15-1.
Fuck out of here.
Either 15-1 or 14-2.
I think it was Dallas, wasn't it?
Way.
Oh wait, 12-2.
Or Miami. Or Dallas or Miami.
They lost 2 games that year, right? Because it wasn't a 16-game season.
13-3.
13-3. Who was the 3 teams that beat them?
Miami, New England, Green Bay.
Mm-hmm. Didn't Detroit damn near beat them that year?
Yep.
Lost the first one 34-7. Lost the second one 26-21.
That was the game. You know why the Eddie Murray missed field goal means so much? Chicago was only scared of one team in the playoffs that year. And it wasn't San Francisco because they already housed them.
Would have been us.
Not that year. We were 3-13.
85?
We were 3-13 in
85.
The 85 year. I'm talking about 85.
Oh, hang on. Let me go way back then.
Yeah, way back, buddy. Way back. Yeah, James Burgess says you know it, 15-1. And Miami was the only team to beat them, but I believe Detroit had their number in one of those games where it was like real close.
Yeah, we did give them a fit.
Lost 24-3 and 37-17.
So nope, it wasn't the year because they said they didn't want to face us for some reason. Oh, that was because Billy Sims started. He missed a game or two and came back. And we damn near beat San Francisco if Eddie Murray didn't miss the field goal.
Exactly. How many times do you say that?
You can't say it very often because Eddie Murray was pretty clutch.
Exactly.
I say it all the time now to this day, and probably this year too. You got to win the close games. Like as much of a disparity as there is between the Bears and Kansas City, it's still the NFL. Good teams win close games.
And
we're on the verge of being a good team.
We won a lot of close games last year. Every single game we won was pretty much close. Weren't they? Except for the Jacksonville game, which was 41-14. 14.
Yep, last Green Bay game. Pretty much handed them their asses in that one.
After we were already
a lot of games we lost were really close.
We were like, okay, we'll still go ahead and beat you. Let's see. Lost by 3, won by 9, lost by 4, lost by 3, lost by 29 to Bailey Zappi. I knew we were losing that game. Belichick could have started.
Shit, Matt Patricia could have started. We'd have lost.
Lost by 4.
Receiver in that game.
Won by 4, won by 1, won by 13, lost by 3, won by 24, won by 9, won by 3, lost by 14, one by 31, one by 4.
So we did win a lot more closer games than we lost in the end of it all.
Some dumbass Bears fan in one of those groups. And it's so funny too because they're so positive based like they're trying to strengthen their argument based upon something that the Lions did. They're like, "Oh, we won 3 games last year and we're going to be great." No, you will not. And I'm like, in reality,
it's funny.
Like, "Oh, you went a whole season without winning a game."
I love hearing.
I'm like, you got blown out more times than we did with 3 more wins than in our winless season.
I love when they do that. Here's the good news. We have never been this good across the spectrum since about 1970, when many folks thought we were the best team in the NFL, but lost a bizarre playoff game to Dallas.
Yep.
Hey, you know what? Here's what I got to say. It's been a great night. I've enjoyed every minute of this. So thank you to James for holding up the chat. Dom, it's great to see you again, man. Brian Three Cushion's going to be angry he wasn't live here because he asks about you every week. Where's Dom?
Glad to be back.
So, are we looking forward to seeing you every week again?
Maybe not every week, but more often than you have in the last several.
In the last 2 months. It's been about that long, hasn't it?
Yeah.
You popped in on the AFC East review. Yeah, that's the last time I saw you, wasn't it?
I believe so.
Justin May, the rapper, obsessed Detroit Lion fan up here in Rochester Hills, Michigan. Go Lions! Win us a Super Bowl before the day I die.
Justin.
James Burgess, I love it. I'll be on camp soon, but tonight I'm naked, so I'll spare you all the trauma. This has been Kneecap Biting with the Detroit Lions. I am your host, Smoking Jeremy B. I had Detroit down till the wheels fall off. I had DC 8091. Thank you to Patty Grimes, Justin May the rapper, James Burgess, King SJ, and to anyone else who was watching, because I see 10 of you here, but not everybody was commenting. And of course, NMM, thank you for popping in. But I'm going to end the show the same way I always do. Try every day to be a better person than you were the day before, because that's the only way to make the world a better place. It starts from within here. Have a great night.